Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. So I thought we've spoken a lot about the things that will happen once you've sorted out financial issues. Again, let me reiterate. Remember, I come from a place where I was overly indebted. I went into debt review and I had to dig myself out. And now I'm at a place where I am actually I'd say enjoying the perks of being debt free. So debt free, I speak besides home and car. I speak from a place where I literally dug myself out of a place where I was totally indebted and I couldn't do anything. I couldn't enjoy some of the things that I do enjoy now, like traveling and so forth, right? So I think for this video, let's take it back to basics. So let me share just maybe a tip. I wouldn't say advice. I'd say maybe a tip of how to get yourself to a place where you are debt free. Right. So I think, and I would say, I'll put it as easy as ABC. Don't log out yet. Hear me out, right? So you realize that you're probably at a place where you are so over indebted, like you literally can't do anything. You're probably at a place like myself where buying groceries is a mission. Buying your day to day is a mission. Day to day being maybe if today there's load shedding, thank goodness load shedding has not hit in a long time. For those of us in South Africa, we know load shedding hasn't hit in a long time, but you know, load shedding hits, you literally have to spend money unplanned because if load shedding hits, whether you've got groceries, if you have not cooked, all those factors that come into play, or you've got an unexpected thing that happens, right? So you find yourself in a place where you are over indebted. The first thing I would say you should do is acknowledge, right? That's A, acknowledge. Acknowledge where you are, right? And how you do that is you literally sit down and write down everything that you spend, especially obligations, right? Because chances are you probably at a place where you've got many debit orders going off and probably 5 minutes into your salary hitting your account, you probably have close to nothing or as little as can take you for a week, let's say for example's sake. You can just cover the week after all the debit orders, right? So write down all those obligationary expenses that are going off your account and leaving you in a place where you are sure you feel like, you know what, I can't even get through to the end of the month. So what they say is there's more month left than the money that you have, right? So that is one thing that I did on my side, right? I literally put out a spreadsheet and I started writing down. For example, at the time, my little one was still a baby, so I had to write down, besides obligations, I had to write down that you have to get nappies. How much do the nappies cost, more or less? How much are all these debit orders? What debit orders did I have? I think a bulk of them were like loans and stuff like that. So I had to write down this loan, all those things. So literally writing them down on a spreadsheet, something simple. You can write it on paper. You can take pen and paper, right? Write all of those down. And then you basically get to see that, for example, if X amount hits my bank account and you minus all these things that are coming off and some of the things that you know for sure, like I have to spend on nappies, I have to spend on milk, I have to spend on bread, for example. All these ones that you know for sure you spend on, right? You take what comes into your account and you deduct. And then you'll probably find that you're sitting on a negative, even with, sometimes the little bit that's left for the week is not really yours as well because it has somewhere it needs to go, right? So you'll probably find that even before you've considered that week, there is actually no money. You're actually sitting on a negative. And which is what I found myself. I found myself at a place where I was literally on a negative even before anything, right? Hence, I found myself where I had only fuel that would last me for a week. And that was it that I could cover. But there were still nappies, there were still other things that needed to happen. So I had to get to a place where I acknowledge, listen, where you are is you're sitting at a negative. So that's where you are, and acknowledge that and really like let it sink in, because sometimes we are unrealistic about the fact that, you know what, actually I'm over indebted. So acknowledge where you are by actually sitting down and writing the numbers. We might not have considered bank charges and all that. I know when I started writing things down, I had not considered bank charges. So those are other things that were coming into play, but I hadn't considered all those things. All I did was write down what I know, as in like debit orders, what I know I have to spend on nappies, what I know, milk, what. So acknowledge where you are with the things that you do know, right? Once you do that, then you get to a place where B, you need to start budgeting. Yes, you're sitting at a negative, but now you need to start budgeting, because what happens is, unfortunately, or fortunately, because it will be fortunate for you because you'll get out of debt, right? Unfortunately, you might need to get to a place where there are certain things that need to fall away. Things that are luxury, or yes, to you they are not luxury, it's something that you feel like you need. For example, you might feel like, I really need to get a massage, let's say, for whatever. I know that I need a massage because it helps me relax and whatever. But if in the bigger scheme of things, perhaps that massage for that time that you are sitting on a negative is actually a luxury. So you might need to budget. Budgeting will help you then see, okay, honestly, what can I let go of, right? If it's maybe, I don't know, maybe it's getting a coffee every day. Maybe that's something, maybe you can reduce it to 1 cup of coffee a week if you're working in the office often. Or what else? Or if it's going out with friends, maybe I can reduce my going out to one, and try not to let go of everything all at once. If you can, do it gradually. But honestly, if the money does not allow, because you've acknowledged and because you really know where you are, maybe you can cut a lot more, right? So now your budgeting will allow you to snip away at certain things that maybe you can do without. If you can do without, I think, for example, on my side, there were times where condiments had to fall away, like your tomato sauces. I know there are people who can't eat without. Tomato sauces had to fall away. Having Oros at home had to fall away. Buying 2 liters cool drink now and then. There are things that had to fall away, and they could, right? And at times, I think if it was um, office outings where you pay for yourself, sometimes I'd have to be honest and like, no, I can't. So things might need to fall away, and that's what budgeting allows you to do, right? Budgeting allows you to then really put down on paper. You can even go as far as getting to your bank statement and seeing even the charges, so that you can see and cater for them, because at the end of the day, there are things that we don't cater for. I also met up with a financial coach the one time, and he was like, people don't even write down their tithes. For example, if you're a church goer and you tithe, remember to consider that in this budget that you are taking on, because it's still money that's going out. It's not money that's not there, if you get what I'm saying. It's there, so you need to put it down that this is going out, and really consider that one as well. So consider all the things that you are really paying. Go into your bank statement as well, consider the charges, and if there are things that you can let go of for a period, because again, once you get to a place where you are debt free, chances are you can get those things back. You can go out more often, you can club more often if you club. Whatever it is that you do that maybe could have fallen away as a luxury can come back at some stage. But for now, you're being realistic and you're saying, you know what, I acknowledge where I am, I'm budgeting at this point, this can fall away and add a little bit of extra, right? And then C, carve your way out. Like, I can't say dig because obviously we're following the ABC, but carve a way for you to get out of this debt. To get to a place where you're getting back your luxuries, for example, you are traveling, you are going out. So carve this way out. One of the things you can do, or one of the many things you can do, is you can actually put down goals, right? As much as you're over indebted, you still have goals, right? You still have things you want to do. Put those goals down. So this is carving your way out. Again, it's something that I've done. It's maybe a tip. Try it, don't try it, your choice, right? Carve your way out by setting out goals. Okay, once I'm debt free, these are the things that I want to do. Or even in my debt, in my over indebtedness, there are certain things I really would love to do, write down those goals, right? And then with the budgeting and the money that you've realized that maybe this is a luxury I can let go of, put that extra either into debt or it can actually help buy your necessities, right? So that money must do something, because then if it's just sitting, you're probably going to go back to whatever it is that you do. So write down where that money is supposed to go. So if, for example, I'm cutting out, for example, in my case, right, I had to cut out gym when I was in that phase, right? I had to cut out gym. So luckily, I think I was left with like 2 months or 3 months into the period where the year comes to an end and you can cancel your contract. So I waited, let the cycles run for 2 or 3 months, and then I canceled my gym membership. And then now I need to figure out that however much it was, I don't even remember, it was so long ago. That however much it is that that I'm now saving, or I've let go of that obligation, where is it going, right? So chances are the best bet, because you're trying to work your way out of debt, right? Your best bet is to be able to pay extra. If, for example, you've got a loan, let's just say you've got a loan, it's only deducting maybe 200 a month, which is your minimum. Maybe you can take that 200 and put it in there, and it helps pay it off quicker. So you can use, I think I've shared a video before, I've shared on one of the videos, you can use an avalanche method, you can use highest interest first. So you decide how you deal with this, right? But that 200, I think it was 200. That 200, let's say my gym membership was 200, because honestly, I've forgotten. I think it was pre-COVID. That 200 that I'm saving, for example, if it's 200 rand, that 200 that I'm saving, maybe I can put it into loan X at whatever bank, right? And then this 200, because it's no longer going off. So don't take that money and think, okay, I've got extra, I can buy the luxury. Put it into a specific loan, or actually take it and say, you know what, I'm not able to buy bread with the little bit that's left. If you have a family that enjoys bread, I'm not able to buy bread, so let me take 100 rand. It will cover bread and veggies, let's say, and then the other 100 rand I'm putting it into loan X, right? And then loan X cuts. You're cutting the years because obviously you sort of chopping at the interest. So maybe loan X was left with like 500 rand. So 5 months, 500 rand is covered. It's done. That loan is closed. then that 200 is there. And now if you've managed to close that loan, guess what? You've got that 200, you've got that loan. Now you've got two obligation debts that you've chopped off. So that's what you need to think about as you carve your way out of it, right? How do you carve your way out of it? Again, I said you sit down and you've got goals, right? And I think those goals will be drivers for you to get yourself out of it, right? You choose, which method am I using to get myself out of this place, to get to a place where I'm debt free, right? And then after that you implement that, put it into paper, put it down. I've shared that I've got a journal. If you want to get yourself a journal and write down all these debts that you have and kind of scrape them off and check in with yourself every quarter. How am I doing with my debts? How am I? So the C can also be check in with how you're doing with your debts, right? So we're not gonna add an extra C because we said A, B, C, right? So acknowledge where you are. Like really acknowledge that, oh no, sitting at a negative. And for me, that was the reality. And I think at some point, I sold muffins at work. We were allowed to sell at work. Sold muffins at work. It wasn't making much of a profit. I wasn't making much money. But guess what? On times where my fuel money had run out, I took that money profit and I'd be able to put fuel to get home. I remember a day where, sure, I remember a day where I was going to the office. Back then, we were going to the office every single day without fail. I was going to the office and I literally ran out of fuel on my way to the office. I knew the light was on. I knew my fuel was running out, but I did not have the funds. And yes, there was a time where you resort to borrowing from people. And I'd reached out to, I think I had maxed out I'd reached out to the few people that I trusted, and no one had the money at the time. And I was like, if I can just get to the office. But honestly, I knew that, girl, I think I turned up one of the roads and yeah, got stuck because I didn't have the funds. I reached out and I got stuck. So anyway, so hence I'm saying that for me, selling muffins was one of the actions that I put into place in order to say, okay, this can help you have money for fuel in between the month where the money has run out. Because remember, reality is that I'm sitting at a negative, and reality is maybe the money will just last for a week, right? So I did something about it, started selling muffins. Those muffins, the profit, little bit of profit, very little bit of profit could help fuel the car on days where I felt like, okay, I've run out of the funds that I need, fuel the car, get back home. It was especially when I had to go back home. So yeah, acknowledge, do something about it. More than anything, acknowledge that maybe you're sitting at a negative budget. If you can spare 50 rand to start a sweet business or whatever, honestly, I don't want to prescribe a way for you to do things. Like, do what works for you. But more than anything, if you've acknowledged, then you can set out a budget. Once you've set out a budget, you know that I can do without gym maybe for now, and running is free. I can do without gym, and maybe I have a skipping rope, you know. And then you figure out from the budget that I can do without one cup of coffee this week, maybe do four in the next month, maybe do two. So your budgeting will help you see those things, right? And the different charges your bank charges you, and then carve your way out of it. Really carve your way out of it. Whether it's selling, whether it's once I know what I'm gonna save, I'm taking that extra, or that 2 rand that I'm saving, and I'm putting it into an obligationary debt. So yeah, this is the video. Guys, I can go on and on because wow, it was quite a journey. And listen, if I say that there are so many luxuries I let go of at that time, know that I really did. And now we're at a place where sure, we can travel. We can actually put money aside to travel. We can actually get through the month without stress. We can get through the month. We can fuel the car. And generally, when I go to the garage, I prefer to just fill up the tank and know that I'm sorted for more days than just, you know. So yeah, like I said, it's the ABCs of getting to a place where you're debt free, but more than anything, getting to a place where you are comfortable. Because debt freedom, yes, we strive for that. But get to a place where you're comfortable, where even after any debit orders, you are able to get through the month. And in a bit of a comfortable state, even if maybe you're not like the richest person out there, but comfortably get through the month. Because at the end of the day, you work hard. Let me not even say probably, you work hard, and it's to afford you, it's a resource to afford you that little bit of comfortability, if not that much, that big much. So yeah, anyway, let me not drag it any further. Please, if you have not liked or subscribed, please do so. It's really helpful to my channel. And also get yourself the journal. Reach out to me in my socials. I'll link them down below. Reach out to me in my socials and I'll be able to work out your payment and delivery for you, so that you can get yourself a journal and really track, especially quarterly. Just quarterly check in with yourself. How am I doing with my debts? Am I still sitting on negative 500? Maybe you doing better in quarter three. You're sitting on negative 1 rand. So yeah, man. I hope it was helpful. If you know of someone else who's working their way out of the of debts, working their way into a place where they are comfortable, please do share it with them. It will be helpful to them as well. Do like, do subscribe, and see you on the next one. Bye.